topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Are you ready for Insights to Incite? Ready or not, it's showtime. Now get ready to listen in and watch right here on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Join us and together we will escape the mundane. Insights to Incite, here is your host, Brandon Lawson.
This has been described as the pillar that holds up the world and as the dream of a waking man. It also has been said that this is the one thing that can help us get through the darkest of times. I personally have said, without this, no one truly lives. Instead, we merely exist, and we in fact experience a slow death. Today is Thursday, November 11th. This is your host, Brandon Lawson. In today's message, we will be getting into Lesson 4 of our series, Issues That Inhibit Us. Friend, has your world fallen apart? Have you fallen into a state of utter darkness? And you feel like your world, your life, will never see a ray of light or of hope? Perhaps you've succumbed to the pressures of this world, the pressures and the confusion this world tends to bring along, and you've come to know and accept this life you have as the world you are meant to live. The world you are meant to live in. May I share something with you? The world of darkness is not where you or I am supposed to live. We are not called to live in the dark, nor are we supposed to. If this is where you are currently residing, then let me say, I've written this message, today's lesson, for you personally. Yes, I want to speak to you, want to speak with you about hope. Hope is something that is it's imperative to life. As I just said, we cannot truly live without it. Yet, too many of us, at some point in our lives, we are hopeless, or at the very least, we feel that way. And, just to speak to how imperative, how critical hope really is, I want to point out that hope is, as I like to say, one of the three foundations of or pillars for life. Yes. And in fact, Paul states this in the very last verse of what we've come to know as the chapter of love. We see in 1 Corinthians 13, verse 13, it says, "And now abide faith, hope, love, these three, but the greatest of these is love." And within that term there, abides, or the KJV, you may see abideth. But within that doesn't mean just to live. It includes that, but it's more than just lives. It means to live on. As another translation puts it, these three remain. It lives on. It continues. Where other things will pass. But that's why I say these are the three pillars for life, the three foundations of life. And hope is one of those three. Yes. So I have to ask you, What is hope to you? I mean, just how do you describe it? How would you define it? Without hope, our world caves in. Moreover, to be without hope is soul crushing. Yes, as the novelist William Styron stated, he says it's worse than pain itself. It is hopelessness even more than pain that crushes the soul, William Styron says. Yet, on the contrary, with hope, we gain some unfounded strength. Yes, we're renewed with we're fueled with and renewed with a sense of vigor and determination. We got this vigor, this determination that enables us to hold on and to push through. It empowers us. Friend, don't allow your soul to be emptied of hope. That is a place you do not want to go to, and we're not meant to go to. Never do you want to arrive there. Friends, we'll be right back. We're going to step away to our first commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into this some more. We're going to talk about this and to really get more into the depths of it. We'll be right back.
Are you on the edge of your seat and wanting more? Stay tuned as we go on a quick break, and we'll be right back with more Insights to Incite with Brandon Lawson right here on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Are you seeking a speaker or coach who speaks life into your people? If so, look no further. Brandon Lawson is one who will inspire and motivate his audience, as well as empathize and relate to all. Reach out to Brandon and let him be your speaker and life coach by sending an email to brandon@connectandimpact.net or by calling him at 513-708-1517. Brandon looks forward to speaking with you, to you, and for you. Let's connect and impact today. Insights to Incite, a real show with real-life messages. This show, which can be found on radio, TV, and our podcast, gives us insight to incite us to action and to excellence. Watch and or listen to Insights to Incite live at noon Eastern Time every Thursday on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Check out our past episodes on iHeartRadio, YouTube, or anywhere you listen to your podcast. Join us each week, and together we will escape the mundane. We are back with more Insights to Incite, so get ready and tune in to listen and watch. Now, once again, let's join Brandon Lawson.
Have you ever been hopeless? That's what we're talking about today. Talking about how imperative it is that we have hope. If you have been hopeless, was it when you or a loved one was diagnosed with a terminal illness? Perhaps cancer? Or maybe at one point you were homeless. However it was, what was it like for you? I, your host, have been there. Yes. At one point, Brandon Lawson, myself, was without a home. I actually was homeless at one point. Whatever your state of hopelessness is, or was, one thing that most likely held true is that your pathway to get there, whatever that, a picture was of hopelessness for you, The pathway that you traveled that to where you arrived at that point, that state, was littered with mishaps. Yes, these mishaps, that you experienced along the way may have been yours personally, may have been directly you, or it might have been someone else whom you trusted to do the right thing, who you gave responsibility to or authority to. And yet they abused it or they did wrong. And your life was greatly, or should I say, gravely impacted. Now, when we think of this hopelessness, this state as such that one arrives at, can you see another inhibition that also arises? Just what am I hinting at? Any thoughts? Friends, when we feel hopeless, we believe that we're helpless. It is true, isn't it? Think about it. If you feel there's no hope, well, if there's no hope that anything's going to get better, then and there's no logical conclusion that will be helped out of this mess, that we could ever come out. Yes, sadly, it is true. When one feels he's without hope, he believes that he's beyond help. Did you hear that? Our perception of ourselves and the state we're in is such that when we're without hope, we're beyond help. Yes, without hope equals beyond help. If you are here at this point, in this very moment, then take note of the words penned by Myra Brooks Welch. I want to read this poem with you. The touch of the master's hand. 'Twas battered and scarred, and the auctioneer thought it scarcely worth his while to waste much time on the old violin, but he held it up with a smile. What am I bid, good folks, he cried, who start the bidding for me? $1, then two, only two? $2, and who'll make it three? $3 once, $3 twice, going for three, but no. From the room far back, a gray-haired man came forward and picked up the bow. Then, wiping the dust from the old violin and tightening the loosened strings, he played a melody pure and sweet as a caroling angel sings. The music ceased, and the auctioneer, with a voice that was quiet and low, said, "What am I bid for the old violin?" And he held it up with the bow. $1,000, and who'll make it two? $2,000. $1,000, and who'll make it two? 2,000, and who'll make it three? 3,000 once, 3,000 twice, and going and gone, said he. The people cheered, but some of them cried, "We do not quite understand." What changed its worth? Swift came the reply. But it was the touch of the master's hand. And many a man with life out of tune and battered and scarred with sin is auctioned cheap to the thoughtless crowd, much like the old violin. A mess of pottage, a glass of wine, a game, and he travels on. He is going once and going twice, he is going and almost gone. But the master comes, and the foolish crowd never can quite understand the worth of a soul and the change that is wrought by the touch of the master's hand. By Myra Brooks Welch. If you have arrived at this state of hopelessness, and you are fortunate enough to have someone physically present to help you along, such as the touch of the Master's hand, then receive him. Receive his help. Receive her help. Receive their help and rise up out of that state. Get up out of that mess. But if not, then what are you to do? I mean, if nobody is there to help us out and we already feel hopeless, we believe we're helpless, the question is, what can we do? What can you do to get out of there and to come over into the state of hope? Well, there's plenty more than what I know or what I can even share here in this message today. But I am going to share 3 thoughts that I believe will be good for us to ponder over and to respond to in order to create hope. Yes, we can create hope. And that's often what we need to do, is to create it, not to sit around and hope it comes. Hope for hope. If you're hopeless, how do you even hope for hope? Isn't that, that it's like a contrarian statement, but what are we to do? First, I'd say, put yourself out there. Yes, put yourself out there. You are not to retreat into your own personal monastery. No. Instead, you must make yourself known. Yes. Make yourself known. And I emphasize the word make. You can't just hope that you'll be known. Again, remember, we're hopeless at this point. You need to make yourself known. So, how? How are we to do that, though? That's a valid question, isn't it? One of the best ways that you can make yourself known is by volunteering. Yes. Volunteering, as I think of it, is the giving up of yourself, of your time, your talents, your resources. Maybe it's some personal strength, your physical muscles. You help someone, they're moving and they need to carry things in and out of their old place, and when they get to the new place, carry it in and set it up. But it's the giving up of ourself to help another. And this goes hand in hand with my second thought. My second thought is in service and through sacrifice. Yes, in service and through sacrifice. The way you make yourself known is by serving and sacrificing. You notice, you got to do it by serving and leading. And you may notice I say serving and leading, not leading and serving. Friend, your service must take the lead along with personal sacrifice. If you're sacrificing yourself, that means you're giving up something of value that is rightfully yours, and that belongs to you, that you could have done something else with. You could have used it for yourself, but you gave it up. You sacrificed. And that will speak to people. And that will help us also to feel better about ourselves, that we gave up something that we could have used for selfish means to help another. And you don't need a title. When I say about your service must take the lead along with personal sacrifice, well, you may be inclined to think, I'm not a leader. Well, if you think that, I don't want to just step on your toes, or hurt your feelings, but I need to tell you, you are a leader. Everyone is a leader in some way, some respect. We all influence someone somewhere, even if we don't know who it is. And you do not need a title, a rank, nor a position to lead. Donald McGannon rightfully stated, leadership is action, not position. Yes. However, your leadership should be a natural byproduct of your service and your sacrifice. I love how the former president of Taylor University and the former chairman of Christianity Today states it. Eugene Habecker accurately asserts that the true leader serves people, serves their best interests, and in doing so will not always be popular, may not always impress, but because true leaders are motivated by loving concern rather than a desire for personal glory, they are willing to pay the price. So there it is at service, and that paying the price is the sacrifice you made. Yes. In serving and sacrifice, you give up yourself and you become a bearer, a carrier of a beautiful light. And that takes us to our third thought to ponder over and to respond to. My third thought in this respect, along these lines, is to recruit and establish a fellowship of light bearers. Being you are a light bearer, now surround yourself with those who are of the same mind. Yes, recruit and establish a fellowship of comrades that will help you to carry the torch, the light. Friend, you will find that each person that you and I associate with, that we have anything to do with, will fall into at least one of these four categories. The first category is the zappers. The second is the dimmers. The third is the beamers. And the fourth is the blazers. We want to be with blazers. And here's why. That first category zaps you. They zap your light. Your light is put out, and your life's impact is minimized. Your life is minimized, and your impact is diminished. That second category, the dimmers, they dim your light, and your life's impact is marginalized. The third category, they beam you. Yes, they brighten your light, and your life's impact is strengthened. And then the fourth category is the blazers. They blaze you. Yes, your light is transfused, and your life's impact is exponentiated. Yes, it is exponentiated in touching and transforming those around you, and many people, even yourself included. So, I should ask you, do we really want to be with the zappers, those who put our light out? I mean, why would we? I believe it's safe to say we don't. We don't want to be with those folks. We don't want those people influencing us. It's best we steer clear of them. And why would we even want to be with the dimmers? They limit us. Even if they don't take our light completely out, they dim our light. They limit us. There's no reason why we would want to be. The only real reason I could see perhaps you want to be is you're there to help them to change. And I'd like to do that as well. And I hope to do that more so through the message I give, like in these shows, rather than personally coming alongside and, them putting my light to dwindle or to become darker and darker and not have as much of a light to go out. I'd want to do it from a distance, not up close with them. And even beamers, while they brighten us and they strengthen our impact, they brighten our light and strengthen our life's impact. Still, I mean, if I had to choose of the four, I'm going to be with those who blaze me, who take my light and transfuse it, that help to take my life's impact and to exponentiate it, to touch many, to influence and impact many, to experience that, not just a feeling, but to experience the reality of what, not to say that I've done it all by myself, but what God has used me for, to be that light, to transfuse my light and to exponentiate my life's impact. That's what I desire to do. Yes, as I've said, hope is critical, and it is indeed imperative to life. There simply is no getting around that fact. So, in order to reach this point where we can create hope, as we were speaking of there, to reach this point, there are three specifics that need to take form. Yes, these three are: first, in the darkness, we must see the light. Second, in the midst of despair, we must choose to be the love. And third, in the dungeon, we must, yes, we must choose to do it, to save a life. Yes, you heard me. We must choose to save a life. You can save more than one life, but you need to start somewhere. You must not only choose to, but actually step forth and do it to save a life. Now, to see the light, it will require pursuit and patience. And I say this because there will be times that we have to search. We have to seek out that light. Remember, we're in the darkness right now. We need to seek it out. We need to search for it. Or we may just have to wait for it. Wait till the dust settles. Once it settles, we can see a ray of hope. Think of when you turn out all the lights at bedtime. You're ready to go to bed. You turn out all the lights in the house. At first, you can't see a thing. It is utter darkness. No light at all. And then that which was once pitch black, within a few minutes, you can see some of your surroundings, like a little light came forth. And hope is much like that. Many times we might have to wait when many times we've tried everything. We keep hitting a brick wall. We can't get anywhere. We're stuck. Sometimes as we stop trying, we just wait, just sit there quietly or lay there, but we do nothing. We quit trying, quit striving. And then our mind, as we allow the hurt, the tears to roll off, or our mind to settle, we can then, shortly thereafter, we can see, something that we hadn't thought of, that we've been missing the whole time. But we had to wait for all that pain to sort of fall off, to be shed from us. Once that dust settles, we can see that light. And hope is much like that. The Anglican priest Desmond Tutu from South Africa noted, "Hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness. Then to be the love will require your heart and your will. Yes. It will take a courageous stance accompanied by a determination, and sometimes a very fierce determination. Yes, this courage means that your heart is at stake, and this determination inclines and implores your will. Then, finally, to save a life. To save a life may very well require every bit of you, all of you. To save a life summons your heart. There's the courage. It summons your mind, that intentionality. This isn't going to be done by accident. And it also summons your will. That is where that vigor and determination that I will do this. I will rise up out of hopelessness. I will save a life. Yes, this will summon your soul, every bit of you. And once these are formed, we can create that hope. Yes. Friends, the scripture tells us that hope is a prerequisite to faith. And without faith, it is impossible to please God. Yes. That text that's found in the book of Hebrews, the writer to the Hebrews stated, if we look at verse 1 of Hebrews chapter 11, it says, "Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen." Well, if you don't even have hope, how can you have the assurance of things hoped for? Hope is a prerequisite to faith. And verse 6 in that same chapter, the writer to the Hebrews tells us, "And without faith it is impossible to please him," that is, please God. "For he who comes to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of those who seek him." If we can't see the light, God is light. He is love. He is life. If we can't see that light and we have no hope, how are we to have faith? And without faith, we cannot and never will we please God if we don't have faith. Friends, once these are formed, we can create that hope for our world, for ourselves, and for others. Yes, it is true. So, will you be that bearer, that carrier of light? Will you carry the torch? You think of that country that wins the Olympics, that claim the most gold medals, or however they tally up the points for the gold, the silver, the bronze. The country that won the most had the highest points for that claimed amongst all the countries in the Olympics. And even at the very beginning, I believe at the ceremony of the Olympics, the victors, they go forth and they carry the torch, the light. Do we want to be a victor or a victim? I don't know why anybody would want to be a victim. Sure, there are some. They seem to thrive on receiving pity from others. But do they really want to be that way? I mean, I don't really know they do even. It seems unlikely that they would want to be that way. But I know that I don't, and I doubt that you do. I'd rather be a winner, a victor, than a victim. Will we carry that light? Will we be the one who creates hope for ourselves and for others? Let's do so. Friends, we're going to step away to our second commercial break, and we'll be back in just a brief moment.
Wow, that was insightful. Stay tuned as we go on a quick break, and we'll be right back with more Insights to Incite right here on W4CY Radio and Talk 4 TV. Are you seeking a speaker or coach who speaks life into your people? If so, look no further. Brandon Lawson is one who will inspire and motivate his audience, as well as empathize and relate to all. Reach out to Brandon and let him be your speaker and life coach by sending an email to brandon@connectandimpact.net or by calling him at 513-708-1517. Brandon looks forward to speaking with you, to you, and for you. Let's connect and impact today. Insights to Incite, a real show with real-life messages. This show, which can be found on radio, TV, and our podcast, gives us insight to incite us to action and to excellence. Watch and or listen to Insights to Incite live at noon Eastern Time every Thursday on W4CY Radio and Talk 4 TV. Check out our past episodes on iHeartRadio, YouTube, or anywhere you listen to your podcast. Join us each week, and together we will escape the mundane. We are back with more Insights to Incite, so get ready and tune in to listen and watch. Now once again, let's join Brandon Lawson.
So, we only have a few minutes left in today's show, and but it's got actually a little bit more time than I thought we would. And since I got some extra time, rarely do I share two poems in the same show, just because for whatever reason, I don't want to overdo it with poetry. But being we have a little bit of extra time, more than I thought I would have, there is a poem that fits. It sounds like this lady, Emily Matthews, wrote it from the story that was made famous by Margaret Fishback Powers. Margaret Fishback Powers was the one that really put out that story about the footprints. And I'm sure you've heard that or read that at some point. And Emily Matthews wrote a poem called God Will Carry You. And in this poem, it has to do with seeing that there is hope. And it goes, the Lord will never leave us nor forsake us. He promised he'd be with us through it all. It often seems he's walking right beside us as he guides us through our problems, large and small. But there are times we just can't feel his presence. When the road's so rough, we need him all the more. We wonder why we're so alone and helpless, why his hand's not there to lead us as before. But if we listen quietly, he'll tell us, take a moment and remember what I said. If you fail to see me walking right beside you, it's because I have you in my arms instead. For together we will cross the highest mountain. Together we will face the stormy sea. You never are alone, you're never helpless. I'll carry you, let go and lean on me. There is hope. Even when we're all alone and there's nobody else physically present, the scripture tells us the Lord will never leave us nor forsake us. In this life, he's always here. He is omnipresent. He's everywhere. It's up to you whether you'll receive him so that you can be with him in the next life. But friends, since we only have a few minutes left in our show, I do want to thank you for joining me. And I realize that never will we agree on everything, whether it's, you and I or anybody else and I. I mean, no two people are going to agree on everything all the time. I realize that we will not always see everything eye to eye. Yet still, I invite you to join me each week for another episode of Eye to Eye, Insights to Incite. We are here every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern on W4CY Radio and Talk 4 TV. And as we get ready to sign off for today's show, I do want to take a few moments and, or actually, I wasn't going to do it myself, but my producer, Roxy, I I want her to read a caption. This comes from Mahatma Gandhi. These are some words of wisdom that I think will do us well as we look to be bearers of light and even create hope, to live that life, to be that difference, to be that change. Roxy, take it away.
The top 10 words of wisdom from Gandhi. 1. Be the change. 2. What you think, you become. 3. Where there is love, there is life. 4. Learn as if you'll live forever. 5. Your health is your real wealth. 6. Have a sense of humor. 7. Your life is your message. 8. Action expresses priorities. 9. Our greatness is being able to remake ourselves. And 10. Find yourself in the service of others.
Let's do so. Let's do that and remember that where there is love, there is life. And let's remake ourselves in service to others. Let's be that change and remember our life is our message. Our actions express our priorities. It shows what we deem as important and what we care less about. Friends, thanks for joining us, and we hope you'll be back with us next week. Thank you.
Wow, what an insightful show. Thanks for listening in and watching today. If you missed any part of today's show or any other episode, check it out on iHeartRadio, YouTube, or anywhere you listen to your podcast. Now take today's insight and utilize it. Incite yourself to action and to excellence in the week ahead, and join us again next Thursday and every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern Time for another insightful session with Brandon Lawson as he speaks to us and shares some more insights to incite right here on W4CY Radio and Talk 4 TV.